Imagine standing in a cold, dimly lit chapel, surrounded by the stillness of the night. A flickering candle casts soft shadows on the walls, and as you kneel in prayer, you feel the weight of the world pressing down on you. In the silence, the air thickens, and a presence emerges from the depths of sorrow, a presence that feels both ancient and eternal. This was Padre Pio's reality on many occasions as he prayed for the souls of the suffering and broken-hearted. But one night, something extraordinary happened, something that revealed the divine way in which God responds to those who are broken by depression. In today's video, we explore how Padre Pio, known for his deep spirituality and profound connection to God, witnessed the extraordinary ways in which the Lord reaches out to souls in despair. We will also reflect on how these encounters can offer hope, understanding, and healing for those struggling with their own battles against depression. Before we dive deeper, please hit the like button if you believe in the power of divine intervention, and don't forget to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Padre Pio was a man known not only for his physical suffering but also for his intimate relationship with God. For those who struggle with depression, the world can seem like an unyielding place of darkness, and at times it might feel like there's no one to turn to. But Padre Pio had a profound understanding that even in our deepest pain, God is there waiting to bring us comfort. Padre Pio's personal life was marked by trials. His own struggles with illness and suffering were not unlike those of many who experience mental health challenges today. His stigmata, the physical wounds that mirrored those of Christ, were an outward sign of his internal suffering. But it was in his own brokenness that Padre Pio was able to connect with those who felt forgotten, unseen, or abandoned. Through his encounters with God, Padre Pio discovered that no matter how deep the darkness, divine light always finds a way to pierce through. Depression is often a silent struggle. Those who experience it feel as though they are walking through life in a fog, unable to reach out or be heard. It's easy to feel isolated, misunderstood, or as though there is no escape from the overwhelming feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Padre Pio witnessed many of these souls. Whether it was a fleeting vision or an ongoing conversation, he saw firsthand how God responded to those whose hearts were broken, burdened, and heavy with despair. He understood that depression was not just a psychological condition, but also a spiritual one, a challenge that affected not just the mind, but also the soul. In one particular encounter, Padre Pio saw a vision of a soul so filled with sorrow that it appeared almost ethereal, as though the person's very essence was being consumed by their inner pain. But in that moment, God's love shone through. A divine embrace surrounded that soul, and Padre Pio witnessed how God soothed the brokenness with compassion and mercy. God's response to depression is not one of condemnation but one of deep compassion. Padre Pio's visions revealed that God understands the struggles of the human heart in ways that go beyond human comprehension. In many ways, this divine understanding is what sets God apart from the world's expectations. For those who feel broken, as though they have nothing left to give, God's response is one of healing. Padre Pio saw that God does not punish those who struggle with mental and emotional suffering, but instead offers solace to those who need it the most. It is in the depths of despair that God's love shines the brightest. One of Padre Pio's most profound teachings is the idea that suffering is not in vain. For many who struggle with depression, this concept can be difficult to understand. How can suffering have any purpose? But Padre Pio believed that in the midst of pain, there is always the potential for spiritual growth. God uses these moments of darkness to draw closer to his children, to offer them comfort, and to help them find hope even when they can't see it themselves. Padre Pio believed in the transformative power of prayer. For him, prayer was not just a means of asking for help, but a way of connecting with God on a deeply intimate level. Prayer has the power to open the heart to God's presence, and it's through prayer that those who struggle with depression can find solace and peace. Padre Pio often prayed for others, asking God to heal the brokenhearted and to bring light into their darkness. His prayers were not mere words, they were powerful intercessions on behalf of those who were suffering. Through his example, we learn that prayer is a way to invite God into our pain, to allow him to heal us from the inside out. In the midst of depression, prayer can serve as a lifeline. It's not about having all the answers or understanding why we suffer, but about offering our pain to God and trusting that He will provide the strength we need to move forward. One of the greatest gifts that Padre Pio witnessed in his spiritual life was the hope of healing. He understood that God's love is powerful enough to heal even the deepest wounds. For those struggling with depression, this hope is essential. It is easy to lose sight of the light when the darkness feels overwhelming, but Padre Pio's life and his experiences with God's healing power show us that no soul is beyond God's reach. Through his many encounters with God, Padre Pio saw firsthand how God brought healing to broken souls. Whether it was through a vision, a prayer, or a moment of divine intervention, God responded with compassion and mercy, offering peace to those who needed it most. For those struggling with depression, this story offers a message of hope. Depression may feel like an insurmountable mountain, but with God's love, even the steepest peaks can be overcome. The journey to healing may be long and difficult, but it is never walked alone. God is always there, offering His love and support. While divine intervention plays an essential role in the healing of souls, Padre Pio's life also teaches us that there are practical steps we can take to aid our healing process. One of these steps is seeking help from others, whether through prayer, therapy, or the support of loved ones. Just as Padre Pio leaned on his faith, we too can lean on the support system around us to help navigate the challenges of depression. Padre Pio's life and his encounters with God offer profound insights into the ways in which God responds to souls broken by depression. His experiences reveal that, even in our darkest moments, God's love is always present, offering comfort, healing, and hope. For those who struggle with depression, this message is one of deep reassurance. You are never alone, and there is always hope for healing. Padre Pio's life was deeply intertwined with suffering and healing, both for himself and for others. His ability to empathize with the brokenness of others came from his own struggles with pain, isolation, and grief. His stigmata, the wounds of Christ that he bore for much of his life, were not just physical manifestations, but symbolic representations of the deep emotional and spiritual toll of the burdens he carried. For those suffering from depression, Padre Pio's example offers a profound understanding. Depression isn't simply about sadness or feeling low, it's an emotional and spiritual weight, one that can sometimes feel impossible to lift. But just as Padre Pio endured his own suffering in silence, he also bore witness to the fact that God has a plan for those who struggle. There's a purpose to the pain, even if it isn't immediately clear. And it's through our brokenness that we often experience God's deepest compassion. Padre Pio's encounters with souls broken by depression weren't limited to the visions of those who had passed on. He also experienced moments of divine intervention for those still living, many of whom sought him out for spiritual guidance. He recognized that for those battling mental illness, healing often required more than just prayer. It required an understanding of the emotional, mental, and physical struggles that people go through. One such story that has been passed down through the years is that of a young woman who came to Padre Pio seeking help. She was tormented by the darkness of depression, unable to escape the crushing weight of her despair. But when she met Padre Pio, something changed. In her time of deepest need, he offered her more than just words of comfort. He offered her an encounter with God's love, an encounter that began to heal her from the inside out. Padre Pio's ministry was often characterized by his ability to offer profound insight into the human condition. He saw the depths of human suffering, but also knew the power of God's healing grace. And it was this grace that he offered to those who came seeking help, particularly those who were in the grips of depression. He understood that, like physical wounds, emotional and mental pain needed care and attention. But through faith, prayer, and God's love, healing was always within reach. For those battling depression, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that healing is a journey. It's not an instant transformation, but a process, one that requires patience, faith, and trust in God's plan. It's a reminder that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes that light comes in the form of a prayer, a word of encouragement, or a divine encounter that reminds us that we are never truly alone. It's important to recognize that, while Padre Pio's life was filled with miraculous experiences, his approach to suffering was grounded in humility and understanding. He did not claim to have all the answers. but he always pointed to God as the ultimate source of healing. His deep faith and commitment to prayer were not simply acts of devotion, they were acts of healing for his own soul and for those around him. The message that Padre Pio left behind is one of hope and resilience. He lived through immense suffering and showed us that even in our lowest moments, God's love is always available. For those struggling with depression, it's a message that encourages us to reach out, to pray, and to trust that God's healing power will work in ways we may not yet understand. Depression is not a punishment, it's a challenge, a spiritual journey, and a path that, with God's help, can lead to profound healing and peace. For many, the most challenging part of depression is the isolation it brings. It's easy to feel like nobody understands, that your pain is unique and unsharable. But Padre Pio's life shows us that even in our most isolated moments, God is present. He is always near, even when we can't feel his presence. And through the intercession of saints like Padre Pio, we can find the strength to continue on our journey, knowing that we are never truly alone. As we reflect on Padre Pio's life and his experiences with depression, let us remember that healing is a collaborative effort. It's a process that involves faith, community, and personal growth. Just as Padre Pio leaned on his relationship with God, we too can lean on our faith, our loved ones, and our community to find the strength we need to face our struggles head-on. If you're struggling with depression, know that there is no shame in seeking help. Prayer, therapy, and support from loved ones are all important components of the healing process. And as Padre Pio's life shows us, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow, even when it feels like all hope is lost. As we continue to reflect on Padre Pio's profound understanding of depression and the divine response to those who suffer, it's important to remember that depression, though painful and isolating, does not define the person. One of the most powerful aspects of Padre Pio's ministry was his ability to look beyond the outward symptoms of despair and see the inner light of each person, however dim it might appear at times. This is a crucial lesson for those struggling with depression today. Your pain does not define you, and there is always hope for healing. Padre Pio often described his stigmata as a way for him to identify with the suffering of others. His physical wounds were a reflection of his deep compassion for those in pain. But more than that, they were a reminder of Christ's suffering and the ultimate healing power of God's love. For those struggling with depression, it's important to recognize that pain, whether mental or physical, is part of the human experience. It's not a sign of weakness, nor is it a punishment. It is simply part of the journey that, with time, can lead to healing and growth. Padre Pio also emphasized the importance of perseverance in the face of suffering. He believed that, through patience and faith, even the most broken souls could find healing. This is a powerful message for anyone experiencing depression. The journey toward healing might feel long, and at times, it might seem like there is no end in sight. But Padre Pio's life teaches us that the key to overcoming depression is perseverance, holding on to the belief that things will get better, even when it feels impossible. One of the reasons Padre Pio was so effective in helping others heal was his own deep humility. He did not see himself as someone special or apart from the people he helped. Instead, he viewed himself as a vessel for God's love, a conduit through which healing could flow to others. This humility is something we can all learn from. When we are struggling, it's easy to feel as though we are unworthy of love or help. But the truth is that no one is ever beyond God's reach. No matter how far gone you may feel, God's love is always present, waiting to heal and restore. Another significant aspect of Padre Pio's approach to healing was his belief in the power of confession. For many, depression is compounded by feelings of guilt, shame, or unworthiness. Padre Pio recognized that these feelings can be overwhelming, and he encouraged those who struggled with depression to seek the healing power of confession. Through confession, individuals could unburden themselves of their emotional and spiritual pain, allowing them to experience the grace and mercy of God. In Padre Pio's view, confession wasn't just about acknowledging sin, it was about allowing God to heal the soul. He believed that when individuals confessed their struggles, their fears, and their pain, they were opening themselves up to God's healing grace. This act of surrender is essential for anyone struggling with depression. It's a reminder that, even in our weakest moments, God is ready to embrace us, heal us, and help us start anew. Padre Pio also emphasized the importance of community in the healing process. Although he was known for his solitary prayer and deep connection with God, he also understood the significance of sharing one's struggles with others. For those battling depression, it's crucial to remember that you don't have to face your pain alone, whether it's through prayer groups, therapy, or simply confiding in a trusted friend or family member. Community support is vital for healing. In today's world, there are many avenues for finding support when dealing with depression. It's important to reach out, whether it's to a mental health professional, a faith community, or a loved one. The feeling of being alone in your struggles can be overwhelming, but the truth is that you are never alone. Like Padre Pio, who saw the divine presence in the suffering of others, you too can find the strength to reach out and seek the help that you need. It's also worth noting that Padre Pio's own experiences of suffering were not without purpose. He was able to turn his pain into something meaningful, something that helped others find peace and healing. For many who struggle with depression, it can feel as though pain has no purpose, that it's something to be endured without any deeper meaning. But Padre Pio's life reminds us that our suffering, though difficult and painful, can be transformative. It can deepen our connection with God, help us grow in empathy for others, and eventually lead to healing. As we reflect on Padre Pio's life and his approach to suffering, it's important to remember that God's response to depression is one of compassion and mercy. There is no judgment, no condemnation, only a loving embrace. God sees the pain that you are carrying, and he longs to bring healing and peace to your heart. If you are struggling with depression, know that there is no shame in reaching out for help. Whether it's through prayer, therapy, or simply talking to someone you trust, healing is possible. You are worthy of love, and you are never beyond God's reach. As we reach the conclusion of this deep reflection on Padre Pio's life and his understanding of depression, it's vital to carry with us the message that his legacy isn't just one of enduring suffering, but one of profound hope, resilience, and unwavering faith. Padre Pio, despite enduring so many personal struggles and hardships, lived his life as a testament to the belief that God's love is the ultimate healer for the broken and the weary. His life was not simply about suffering, it was about finding God's presence in that suffering, and in that presence, discovering the profound healing power of divine mercy. One of the most remarkable things about Padre Pio's ministry was his approach to those who were suffering, particularly those dealing with the silent battle of depression. He never judged or condemned those who came to him seeking help. Rather, he understood the depths of their pain. He recognized that depression is not just a mental health issue, but a spiritual one as well, a struggle that affects the very soul of the person. And because of this, he provided comfort and solace in ways that transcended simple words. Padre Pio's life reminds us that it is okay to feel broken. It's okay to feel like we're carrying a burden that is too heavy to bear. But what matters is how we respond to that brokenness. Through Padre Pio's own suffering, he learned to connect with the suffering of others, offering them not only his prayers, but also his heart. His humility and willingness to suffer alongside others is an example we can all learn from. For those of us who struggle with depression, it can often feel like we are isolated, as though no one truly understands the weight of our pain. But Padre Pio's example shows us that even in our deepest moments of despair, God is there. He is with us in the darkest of nights, and his love never fails to reach us, even when we feel unworthy of it. Just as Padre Pio offered his presence and prayers to countless souls, God's presence is always available to us, offering the comfort and peace we need to find healing. One of the most important lessons Padre Pio imparted was the power of perseverance in the face of suffering. He never claimed that healing from depression would come easily or quickly, but he always emphasized the importance of continuing on the path of faith and trust in God's plan. This perseverance is key for anyone who is struggling with depression. It's not about an instantaneous fix, but about continuing to move forward, step by step, even when the road feels long and the pain feels overwhelming. By holding on to the belief that God's love will carry us through, we find the strength to keep going. Padre Pio's humility was central to his ministry. He never saw himself as separate from the people he helped. He viewed himself as a servant of God, someone who was there to offer compassion and healing, not from his own strength, but through the grace of God. This is a powerful reminder for all of us. When we are facing depression, it's easy to feel as though we are alone in our struggle, unworthy of help or healing. But Padre Pio's life shows us that no one is beyond God's reach. No matter how broken we may feel, we are always worthy of God's love and healing. Another important aspect of Padre Pio's ministry was his emphasis on the power of confession. Depression is often accompanied by feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. These emotions can weigh heavily on the soul, making it difficult to find peace. Padre Pio understood that confession wasn't just about acknowledging sin, it was about opening oneself up to God's mercy and grace. In confession, individuals could unburden their souls, and in doing so, they could begin the process of healing. For anyone struggling with depression, confession can serve as a powerful tool for emotional and spiritual healing. It allows us to lay down the weight of our pain and experience the freeing power of God's forgiveness. Padre Pio's ministry also taught us the importance of community. Though he was known for his solitary prayer and deep connection with God, he understood that we are not meant to walk through life alone. He saw the importance of sharing our struggles with others, whether it's through the support of a community of faith or through the help of professionals. For anyone dealing with depression, reaching out for help is one of the most important steps toward healing. You are not alone in this journey. Just as Padre Pio relied on his community, we too can lean on the support system around us to find strength and encouragement. Padre Pio's life was filled with countless miraculous experiences, but his approach to suffering was grounded in his faith and his trust in God's plan. He didn't offer quick fixes or empty platitudes. He offered the gift of presence, of prayer, and of deep understanding. For those of us struggling with depression, this is a powerful message. Healing may not come instantly, but through faith, patience, and perseverance, healing is always possible. As we reflect on Padre Pio's life and his understanding of depression, let us remember that God's response to our pain is always one of love. God sees our suffering, and he desires to bring us healing and peace. We don't need to hide our pain or carry it alone. Just as Padre Pio found comfort in God's love, we too can find solace in knowing that God is always with us, offering his mercy and grace. If you are struggling with depression, please know that there is no shame in seeking help. Whether it's through prayer, talking to a loved one, or reaching out to a professional, healing is possible. You are worthy of God's love and healing, and you are never beyond his reach. Thank you for joining me in this reflection on Padre Pio's life and his response to depression. I hope his example of faith, perseverance, and compassion offers you hope and encouragement. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it with someone who may need encouragement. And remember, you are not alone. God's love is always with you, and through him, healing is always possible. Please like, share, and comment below. Your thoughts and experiences are valuable, and your voice can help others find hope in their own struggles. Thank you for watching, and may God's peace and healing be with you, now and always.